Another thing we wanted to discuss was this year, I think it was maybe the state that's doing a pilot with various different school districts around the state, one of which is Washington County, locally here for us, where they can have school for their classes when they're not actually in school.
Right.
So, for instance, a snow day, which we had not too long ago, and Washington County was able to initiate this program to hopefully count that day towards their school year.
Right.
Marion County and Taylor County and Washington County locally are doing
Right.
that. Nelson County and Marion County decided not to. But can you tell us a little bit about the program, how it works, and what your decision on taking part or not to take part was?
Well, you did a good job. I mean, you really, I mean, basically that's what it is. It was a state pilot last year. They asked districts, would you be interested in doing that? Because, as you know, last winter, it was brutal. We had a lot of missed snow days, and I know we had under 20 but more than 15, but there were districts around the state that had 35 days of absences. So obviously that is a problem to make sure kids get the content they need. So the state said, you know, let's try something different. Let's try this pilot program. You're right, those two districts did. We did not elect to try that pilot program because I just wanted, you know, we wanted to see what's that going to look like. In Washington County, it's called a Commander Day. I was at the ball game Saturday night, and one of the teachers said, and parents said, can we have a night day? He said, can we go to school? And I said, well, that'll be something we'll just have to look into because I know several districts across the state. Basically, the teachers actually come to school and are available for questions, and material is prepared ahead of time and sent home with kids. Obviously, some things would be prepared in a packet. Some things could be prepared on our website. I'm not sure that we're ready to do technology just yet, just because we don't have laptops in the hands of every single child, but I'm sure it could be a blended process. So, I mean, it's something that we can look into, especially after the State Department tells us that it's open to everyone again. But, you know, I do value the interaction between the children and the teacher, and I know the teachers value that same interaction. So I think it's something that can be very helpful, especially when you have a lot of snow. So, but we're in good shape right now. We've had one snow day, and then last week we took a day for the windshield. I meant it was really cold, a lot of advisory for that. So, so far we've had 2 days. A lot better. We're in a lot better place so far than we were last year at this time. So.
And how many days do you have built into the schedule for being called out for snow or weather?
Oh, well, we basically just put the number of days that we missed last year into the calendar. So right now, our last day, I think, is May the 20th. We've got that election day in there, and I do want to let folks know that, you know, Chad Mattingly's working with us to maybe possibly move 3 of the polls so that if the legislators said you can have school on election day, we actually could. Last year we were not allowed to do that because we had elections going on and 3 of the places were in school. So we are working on that. We're trying to be proactive. So after our 5th day, I believe, then that's when we would actually start looking at, okay, we're going to go to school on President's Day. And then we start looking at some days in the calendar that we would actually start going to school and spring break and things like that.
Hopefully we won't reach that number.
I hope not. I mean, tomorrow is supposed to be 58 degrees, so I'm hoping, and I think Mr. Evans told us last night at the board meeting we were about 60 days away from spring. I know it's not getting dark near as early, so the sun's setting later. So, I mean, every day that it gets closer, you know, to that pretty weather, I mean, we're in a lot better shape. So.
Absolutely. Now, too, something that started recently, too, was with your meetings, that you changed the times for your school board meetings. Correct. Could you tell us a little bit?
Well, our school board meetings, we had talked about, the board had talked about moving those to 4 o'clock, and that would be starting in January, and that conversation took place, I believe, in November. The board came back, I think the first meeting in December, and decided to keep those at the 6 o'clock time. The day of the week did change. It moved from Tuesday to Thursday. Yesterday we did have a work session, and the board decided to have that work session at 4 o'clock. So different day, same time, 6 o'clock. Probably something the community would want to hear about that's going on with the board is we are actually discussing more about public comment. Currently our policy has a 10-day waiting period before somebody can be on the board agenda. So we're looking at those policies, and we discussed last night the possibility of having a committee in place to talk about what that would look like, so the public would feel more welcome, that it would be easier to get on the agenda.
Right.
So I would anticipate that at our next regular scheduled meeting, which will be next Thursday at 6 o'clock at Marion County High School, that the board will move forward with that committee work, form that committee. So another item is, as you all know, we do student drug testing for those kids that are athletes or involved in extracurricular or drive. And so the board had a discussion last night about staff drug testing, and so I believe we'll have another committee formed for that. So it would be random, suspicionless drug testing for staff members. Currently, our bus drivers do that, but it would be for all the staff.
Yeah.
So
I know part of the funding that has come for the student testing for the past couple of years comes to the Marion County Safe Community Coalition.
yes.
Where would the funding come for the teachers or for the staff?
Well, it would come from
From
out of
that.
our general fund.
General, yeah.
So,
So I knew there wasn't more in that
yeah,
grant. So.
and if you'll remember, they're wonderful and have been through this whole process. They give us all the money they get, but the way we do it, we do 50 kids 3 times per season, so to speak, 9 times. So the board does have to pick up some of that funding. So yeah, that would be another funding. So
We'll see. That'll be discussed probably
yes.
at the next meeting. All right. Well, thank you very much. Again, I've been talking with Marion County School Superintendent Laura Schlosser here on Central Kentucky Television. This has been Gary White.
Thank you.